Are the Psychedelic Furs one of the most underrated bands of all time? The Psychedelic Furs are an English rock band founded in London in February 1977. Led by lead vocalist Richard Butler and his brother Tim Butler on bass guitar, the Psychedelic Furs are one of the many acts spawned from the British post-punk scene. The band had several hits in their early career. In 1986, filmmaker John Hughes used their song Pretty in Pink for his film Pretty in Pink. They went on hiatus after they finished touring in 1992, but resumed in 2000 and continued to perform live. The band released Made of Rain, their first studio album in nearly 3 decades, on the 31st of July 2020. Richard Butler stated that the Psychedelic Furs began rehearsing in his family's front room, but were soon banished because of the noise. The band was initially called RKO, then Radio. They later vacillated between calling themselves the Europeans and the Psychedelic Furs, playing gigs under both names before permanently settling on the latter. The word psychedelic was chosen to separate the band from punk rockers who ostentatiously scorned the legacy of 1960s rock music. The band initially consisted of Richard Butler, vocals, Tim Butler, bass guitar, Duncan Kilburn, saxophone, Paul Wilson, drums, and Roger Morris, guitars. By 1979, this lineup had expanded to a sextet, with Vince Ely replacing Wilson on drums and John Ashton joining as a second guitarist. The Psychedelic Furs debut, a self-titled album released in March 1980, was produced by Steve Lillywhite. The album quickly established the band on radio in Europe and was a number 18 hit in the UK Albums Chart. The album also found success in Germany, Italy, France, Spain, and Australia. The Furs found success in the US with their next release, 1981's Talk, 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 which saw the band making its debut on the US Billboard 200 chart. In the UK, the album yielded 2 charting singles, Dumb Waiters and the original version of Pretty in Pink. The band took a long break in the early 1990s, with Richard and Tim Butler going on to found Love Spit Love, with Richard Fortus and Frank Ferrer, both of whom would later join Guns N' Roses. In 2000, Richard Butler, Tim Butler, and Ashton reformed the Psychedelic Furs. The touring lineup also included Fortus and, later, Ferrer. They released a live album, Beautiful Chaos, Greatest Hits Live, which included a new studio recording, Alive, for Once in My Lifetime. In 2017, the band's 1984 single, The Ghost in You, was featured in the 2nd season of Netflix hit series Stranger Things and was included on the Sony Music soundtrack companion to the season, Stranger Things, music from the Netflix original series, released in October 2017. That same year, the band's 1982 single Love My Way was played several times in the Oscar-nominated film Call Me By Your Name. So don't forget to tell us what are your thoughts on this, and hit the subscribe button.